So today we're going to be taking a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. In the last episode we saw India get fully divided up. We also saw Neo-Persia expand a lot. We had Constantinople down here break away and go to Albania and Turkey country respectively, which also is kind of like why Russia is sort of losing a lot of power at the minute, or influence I should say. And mainly we had the Floridian country finally break away in the Floridian Revolution. This episode is going to be extremely important for lore, so make sure to watch, and yeah, let's just get into it. Anyway, the first thing we're doing is taking a look at the alliance later because, something bad is going to happen. Now, if we also look at ideology, we can see that Germany and Portugal and Hungary are dictatorships, and Britain just became one. But then France and the Dutch are both democracies now. The Dutch have turned into a democracy at this point. So, like, it's a big clash, and they're starting to get extremely, rowdy with each other. The French and the Dutch are calling the Germans just bad things, and the Dutch and the rest of the dictators in this alliance are calling the French and the Dutch bad thing. What's going to happen is this argument is going to get really bad, and it results with the Dutch and the French getting kicked out of the Triangle Alliance. Not that big of a deal. And this is now going to put these two be neutral, and they will also sign a defensive pact with each other, just so, if Germany or Portugal try to jump them, which they have a fear could happen. So if that happens, then they'll protect each other. Then we see something interesting happen, as Russia will actually reach out to both these guys, being like, hey, do you guys want to join the Circle Alliance? And the Dutch and French will be like, we'll think about it. And Germany's like, oh no, because now we have 2 alliances that are hostile with our alliance, and many more countries around the world that are kind of getting sick and tired of our reach and influence around everyone. So, with that massive event out the way, and now Germany and these two, and the Triangle Alliance and these two having hostile relations now, we come down to Arabia, as we have some colonization that's going to happen. As we see the British Union make a landing in Yemen over here, they'll quickly work around to colonize the area, and the Bread team's going to be like, yo. Now at this point, the economical alliance here is pretty much a military alliance. I should probably color it in, but there's no point because, yeah. And the Red team's going to be like, right, we declare war on the British Union. But then we see Portugal make a landing in Oman over here, and Germany's going to make a landing in this country, and they're going to take a capital. And these guys have never seen this force of military before, so it's basically just going to go like this. And then Germany does something really controversial, as they will invade into the holy city, and they'll take it over. It's just showing how weak the Red team really is. They're not able to fend off the Europeans, as they will get, or the Yemen country will get their capital taken, and the British Union is just using modern warfare strategies to come through the desert around this area now. And it is now the year 1800 this invasion started then. So yeah, just saying that is the year currently at this point. In fact, it might be like 1805 at this point. So yeah, that's something really strange is going to happen, as Neo-Persia will start an invasion into the Red team. Neo-Persia is a strong country, and yeah, they're probably top 10 power by this point, and they're going to be able to take over a lot of this area of Persia that the Red team holds on to. And by this point, some countries are going to start funding the Red team. Specifically, we have the Circle Alliance funding Red team, probably going through the Caspian to fund down here, or just using other methods. In fact, they probably go through the Black Sea and reach these guys because they're in the Star Alliance. And the funding will start, which will result in a bit of a pushback against Neo-Persia by the Red team, as this is actually the first loss that Neo-Persia has had yet, as they'll start getting pushed back in this front line over here. And now Portugal is just going to, capture this city and eventually move into the capital of Oman and take that for themselves. And they'll just move along the coast, and finally, eventually, they'll capture the last remaining city and capitulate the entire country. Yeah, cool. Then have Yemen getting invaded over here, and the British will sprout out and grab this city. And finally, they will use some of the Portuguese claims to come out and grab this over here. And we have the Yemenis Union falling over to Britain. Britain will then start an invasion of the Red team, and this is just showing how much the Red team is fumbling this war, as they are now getting invaded by Britain. Well, they do give something to the Germans. They promise to let the Germans actually occupy this area of Yemen here, just the capital area, and they'll do something. They'll give them some money, I don't know. But then the Germans are going to invade into the Brown team over here, and they're going to move quickly into the Brown team and take over this land like this, and that's two silver over colour. Now the Germans now invade, they invade into the Brown team as well, and do this, basically. And they take over a lot of land, and they come up to Qatar, they take all of Qatar, and the capital gets taken of the brown team, who will then surrender. And the red team is going to do their best to push back against Neo-Persia now. Eventually, they will decide to sign a peace deal with all the European powers. And the red team, it's just showing the world now, the red team is not as strong as they kind of gave on to be. They were a lot weaker and a lot more unstable than they put on to be. So let's just take a look at the peace treaty and see what happens. So in the peace deal, we see this happen. So the British Union is going to take pretty much all the Yemenis country, just like this. And it's like, I actually don't like this border, I'm going to get rid of the province they gained. So what happens, the British Union actually only gains this tiny province down here. They make a new one, and they gain this. That's because most of the population in this province was down here, and pretty much none of it was up here. So they pretty much took away the population from, which I'm not even sure if anyone lives in this desert over here, so ignore what I said. We see Neo-Persia takes actually quite a lot of land away from the red team, and they are now huge. We see Portugal take this Omanese land here. The Germans will just take this area, and they now have full control over the entrance to the Red Sea, so that's very valuable. They also take over the Holy City, and they now probably have the biggest population in the world. They might go to Japan, but the red team is left for this land now. And what they're going to do is, actually the brown team is extremely weak after this war. They're in a huge debt, so what they decide to do is join up with the red team. And we now have the red team getting a bit more land. I mean, they lost land and also gained land in the brown team, but they will go and just join up and unite with the red team. So that's not very good. Arabia has been changed by this point, and the red team is very angry with what happened, because not only did they lose land, but their economical alliance also died. There's no point of happening anymore. No, it would literally just be the red team, this magenta Turkish country here, and then Caspia, and I don't think that'd be a very good functioning economical alliance. So what's going to happen instead is the red team, surprisingly, is going to join up with the Circle Alliance. This is a surprising choice. But they're getting funded by them, or funded by the Circle Alliance during the war. So they decide, hey, we should just join up with the Circle Alliance. So, yeah, they just do it. And the Circle Alliance does go stronger with the red team. Anyway, moving away from this mess over here, let's do something else. And really, there's like nothing else I can do before the next major war. There's a few things that need to happen, but like there's no other events that I have planned really. I mean, the world has been majorly colonized at this point, and we have probably exited the colonial era by this point, because it's just there's like no one left to colonize. So let's have a few things happen to some strong countries that may start losing their influence, such as Russia. Now Russia, as I've said a few times, is going through a really tough period. They're losing a lot of influence, a lot of land, and yeah. And they're no longer the big scary country in Europe that can boss everyone around. So they will decide to boost their power in a way that they're going to invade into the Lavender country. So they'll start their invasion in this region over here, and kind of move around, and just do some random things. And they start advancing towards Lake Baikal, and it looks going good, but then they realise that they don't have any money left to pay their military. So what we end up seeing is them pretty much just ditching, and they start invading into all the Lavender country, and actually starts invading into the Russian occupied lands, and they're able to actually take the whole thing back in a very embarrassing defeat for Russia. And what we see happen then is like a sort of rebellion starts forming from the military over here. They say that they are tired of being in control of Russia, and that if Russia's not going to pay them, then they're not going to be in the country anymore. So you have this massive rebellion start to invade further into Russia, and they do a kind of spearhead to go out. And Russia eventually is going to have to sign peace with these guys, and let's see what the peace treaty is going to be. This peace deal is going to look like this. We have just this area breaking away from Russia and forming its own state. And yeah, Russia is definitely the sick man of Europe at the minute, you could say. Anyway, now we move to China in the remnants of the Chinese Empire. As these two countries, they kind of had... Oh, what? These guys don't even have a capital, what? Let's change that. These two countries had an economical treaty, and these guys have broken the economical treaty. They are holding a lot of assets from these guys, and it's quite not good. Quite not good, yes, very good grammar. I'm struggling for grammar, guys, not even gonna lie. These guys are obviously quite upset about it. So what's gonna happen is they're gonna be like, right, we're invading into you then. We want our assets back, and we want to punish you for breaking this economical treaty we had, which was very good. These guys actually helped them gain independence from the this Chinese country here, and now they're invading back into them, just showing a little bit of support, you know, just gotta do it. And they move out and they grab this city here, and it's showing that these guys aren't strong at all, they're very weak. Then I have Blue Xinjiang making an invasion into the Red Country. Blue Xinjiang really haven't done anything yet in the series, they just appeared. Yeah, they are like mountaineers, they really like the mountains, so they're going to take over quite a lot of land. They'll take over all of this over here, even this major city. That's because these guys didn't really even have a military, it was more just a national guard, and that's not strong enough to keep two countries from invading you. So they're just going to kind of lose quite a lot of land in the first year of this war, which this war is going to last about a year. And these guys are going to be like, okay, we surrender, but we're sorry, we'll work something out, you know, come on. And these guys are going to be like, okay. So we see this happen in the peace treaty, where the southern green country will gain all of this. Blue Xinjiang is going to then get all of this, and this is what we end up seeing in the peace treaty. And there will also be a new economical pact between all three of these guys. Actually, it's going to be a new alliance. And that's going to be the Trapezoid Economic Alliance, just like this. All three of these guys are going to join in on it, and it's going to kind of, this is actually going to be known as the CEU, the Chinese Economical Union, and it's for any former Chinese country that wants to join. These guys weren't a former Chinese country, but they were very heavily influenced by China, so they just let in. And we now have another economical alliance in the world. The last one literally just disappeared over here in Arabia, so yeah. And then we move to this country now, as they're going to adopt a new ideology, I guess. I wouldn't say so, they're not going to be fascist or anything. What they're going to do is they're going to adopt a policy of being extremely anti-colonialist. They hate colonialism with all their hearts, and they hope that it can stop. They want all the African colonies to be let go, they want all the American colonies to be let go, they want every colony in the world to be let go. And these guys are going to just, I don't know, it's going to start kind of, they're even going to start finding like separate militias in these countries that want to break away. So, yeah, that's not going to be liked by the Portuguese or the Germans, and they're even thinking about invading these guys because they are very annoying. But the French have a different idea. They, are kind of broke, after, you know, leaving the Triangle Alliance. Germany has cut all kind of economical support to the French, which the French kind of really relied on Germany for economical support. So what's going to happen is they're going to sell some land over to the this country down here, the Floridians, and that's going to be the Virginia sale over here. If you don't know already, this is our universe's version of the Louisiana Purchase. They're also going to buy this province over here, this pretty large one, and the French are actually getting quite a lot of money from this. These guys are a decent rich country. This is where Portugal had a lot of assets down in this Floridian area, which is why they were so sad about losing it. But at the end of the day, the Virginia Purchase will go through, and all of this land will be transferred over to the Floridians, or the Republic of Florida, because I believe they're a democracy yet. And we even have the French considering giving up their colonies altogether. They are kind of sick of colonialism. It's taking a lot of money out of them. Same thing with the Dutch, although they don't really have as many colonies, so they're probably going to hold on to this. But anyway, the final event for today's video is going to be an extremely large one. And you know, it's just the French and the Dutch are going to join up with the Circle Alliance. You know, not a big deal, and this totally isn't going to start an insane rivalry of influence around Europe and the entire world, as these two are going to embark on now extremely hostile relations with the Germans, and this is going to set up, well, a mini Cold War-ish. I don't want to say Cold War because, you know, I don't really want to spoil the future, but this is more of a war of simply, I don't know, these guys just hate each other. This is a conflict of hatred and just simple distaste for other countries. The Germans and the Triangle Alliance and the Circle Alliance now hold hostile relations with each other, and this is going to push us into a very scary era for the world, as the border is completely shut, and this will officially start the interwar era. Actually, no, this is officially going to start what is known as the era of hatred, which is a mini era because we are in the early modern era now officially, but it is more. This is the era of, I don't know. It's a terrible name. The era of hatred. The era of distrust, I think, is a better name. So we're now in the sub-era of distrust. I don't want to say sub-era, that's an awful name. But these two alliances will now just have a kind of war for influence over the rest of the world as we now go into the 1820s. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. I have actually not many ideas left for this for at the minute, and that's only because I'm not going to spoil the future, but there's a big event going up soon, and I don't know whether I should speed this up and get that out of the way and go to our next era, or if I should like slow it down a bit. But I really don't know, because I don't have many other events planned before the next big event. So you may see next episode be a normal episode, but you may see the start of that big event in the episode after that. If my plan, I don't know, this is going to be a very mini era, it's going to be a very small one, so yeah, just keep that in mind. But anyway, thank you for watching today's video. Actually, there's only one person in the world that's not subscribed to my channel, and that could be you. So check you're subscribed, and if you're not subscribed, it's not a very good thing. You're gonna get badly punished. But anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.